The Last of Us Season 1 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you weren't caught up to the point where I am, rewatching or watching The Last of Us, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description for you. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And I'll be honest with all of you, I never played either of the Last of Us video games. The reason why I'm watching the TV show is because the trailer for the show before it came out looked really good, and there was some interest because of that, as well as YouTubers that I watch really ranted and raved about the games, as well as when they saw the season early, they loved it, so that's why I'm watching it. This will be The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 8. The title of this episode is called When We Are in Need. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start the episode by being introduced to a character straight out of the video game named David. He's this community's priest, so to speak. He's reading the Bible, and he says he's read this passage too many times. And somebody's died. A daughter's father has died, and she wants to know if they're going to bury her father, and it's too cold to dig. David says, we'll bury him in the spring, or at least that's what they're led to believe is going to happen. And this community, of course, is running low on food. And David tells his right-hand man, James, that he senses doubt if he's behind him, because there's something crazy with this group. And James says the last 6 months have been hard, but it seems like he's definitely with David still. And that's what David wanted to know, if James was with him. And then we go back to Ellie. She needs to find food for herself and Joel, and she shoots a deer. The deer appears to be critically wounded. Initially it falls, but then it gets back up and kind of goes away. So she's trying to follow where this deer went to, and then we find out that James and David are going to hunt for food as well, and the deer has died close to where they are, and they know that this is a fresh deer, that somebody killed it, but where is this person? And then Ellie points her gun at them. Freeze, don't move, get away, this is my food. Well, how are you going to get this back to where you're staying? And eventually they talk about a trade, because they have medicine that they can offer Ellie. So it's kind of a trade, half of the deer for some medicine. So David tells James to go back to their community and bring back some penicillin. If he does bring back this penicillin, Ellie will, of course, share half of the deer with them. And I don't know if that was what Ellie was really going to do or not, but then we have David and Ellie. They take shelter together with a fire so they can warm up a little bit, and they also, of course, bring the deer carcass with them. And David tells Ellie she can't trust her, and he knows how hard it is to trust a stranger, but he's not there to do anything to her. At least we're led to believe that. He tells Ellie he used to be a teacher, and he says that he found God after the apocalypse. He also tells Ellie a story about it's kind of a coincidence that a man with a girl killed one of our men, and that's the person that they were talking about at the beginning of the episode. At least we're led to believe that. And then we have James returning with the medicine. He also has his gun drawn on Ellie because he came from behind. And David actually tells James to lower the gun, and he throws Ellie the penicillin with the syringes, and she runs back to Joel. And Ellie, of course, gives Joel the penicillin. She's not really sure how to administer the penicillin. She tries to wake Joel up, like, how do I do this, Joel? But he's out. So she just gives it to him, puts it right in the wound, and puts it in there, inserts it in there. And then she lays next to Joel. And then David and James return to their community. And he says, David, in the morning they'll find Ellie's trail and find her so they can bring the person she's traveling with, to justice for killing their people. So that's why David let Ellie go, so she could lead them to Joel, or the character they know that killed their man. And they're actually coming after Joel now, and they're coming, they're there now just about. Ellie sees them before they see her, so she runs back to Joel, wakes him up to tell him that men are coming. She's going to try to get them away, But if they come down there, she gives them a knife, you've got to kill them. I don't care how fucking wounded you are. You got to do something here. You've been kind of laying down for a while. But she's going to do her best to lead them away. So Ellie gets on the horse and she shoots at them and tries to lead them away, but James is able to shoot the horse, killing the horse immediately, and Ellie falls off the horse. And James is actually going to kill Ellie, but David stops him, and David takes Ellie and tells a few of them to go door to door while the others take care of the dead horse. And then they've arrived at Joel and Ellie's hideout, and Joel does hear them, and Joel is able to stab one of the men that came downstairs, or wherever the hell he was. I don't know if it's necessarily downstairs, because I don't remember seeing any stairs. And we find out that David has taken Ellie back to the community. She's now in a cage. He tells her the others want to kill her, but he stopped them. He wants to know her name. And David tells Ellie he'll protect her. Then we're back to Joel. He captures another one of the men and actually starts to torture the original guy. He puts a knife in his mouth and tells him to point at where their community is. And he says, I'm going to have your other guy do it too, so you guys better be right. Otherwise, you better match. Otherwise, I'm going to kill you. And then he does this, and then Joel kills this guy anyway, and then goes to the other guy. He's like, he already told you where our community is. You don't need to know anything. And then he kills him too. So this is badass Joel, even though he's been out of commission for, a whole episode plus here. And then we find out that this community and David, they're a bunch of cannibals, and she thinks that he wants to eat her, but only a few people in the community, I believe, know that they're actually cannibals, like feeding people food, human flesh. Him, James, and maybe the cooks. I don't know if anybody else knows. It's not clearly told to me. So David says Ellie reminds him of her. She reminds him of him. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say here, but knowing Ellie, it reminds him of himself. It says she has a violent heart, and he should know because he's always had a violent heart. And David actually wants Ellie to join his community. They could make this place perfect. And then he Ellie's got her hand kind of through the cage, so to speak, and David kind of touches her hand, and then Ellie is able to break his finger and bite him, and then she tells, and then David, after this happens, smashes her face against the cell, and Ellie says, hey, tell your guys that Ellie is the one that broke your fucking finger. And then Joel is out searching for Ellie. Joel finds where they have the dead horse, in addition to the human carcasses, the slaughterhouse. That's what he finds. And David returns with somebody. I think it was James. And they have they're going to cut Ellie up with the butcher thing. And Ellie's like, wait, I'm infected. And then so they look at Ellie's arm, and she's like, you're infected too now, because she bit David. And they kind of just they get distracted just enough where Ellie's able to take the axe and or the butcher cleaver, whatever you want to call it, and kill James, and then get away from the scenario. And then David's looking for Ellie, and they're in like a restaurant setting, and then she eventually comes out from behind him, and as he turns around to notice her, she stabs him, but he's able to push her to the ground. And then I didn't know this group was going to be cannibals, or at least some of the members were going to be cannibals. In fact, they're all members, but all the people don't know that's the case. But David gets Ellie on the ground, and he says fighting is the part he likes the most. So I believe that he's going to rape her or sexually assault her. I believe that's what's implied here. But Ellie is luckily able to get the upper hand, and then she just goes crazy on David with that butcher cleaver. I think she's cutting his head open like multiple times, just going completely crazy. And then she's got like blood on her face after this happens. She gets out of the restaurant, which I forgot to mention that she had thrown some fire at David, but she missed, and it got on like one of the curtains, so the building was on fire as, you know, David was looking for her in there. So Ellie eventually gets out of this building, and then Joel grabs her from behind, and Ellie starts to freak out. He's like, "It's okay, baby girl. It's me. I got you." And then they walk away from this this community's restaurant, and that's what ends the episode. So really, really intense episode of The Last of Us. I mean, I've seen more intense stuff, but this is really good. I wish I would have been able to play the game because it sounds like it was pretty cool, but I just don't have patience for the game. So as many of you know, I've never played the game, so if there's things I'm forgetting, or if you want to clarify what happens, but I believe that David was going to rape Ellie, and that's why he likes her, because he's into the little girls. Make sure you leave that in the comment section. But I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. I think this was really good for The Last of Us. I'm really excited to see the season finale next week, and definitely come back to the channel for that. But you've heard me. Oh, actually, I guess I should tell you who my character of the episode would be. Ellie for sure, but David was pretty good and creepy too. And we got little information here and there to lead up to the fact that he's a cannibal and also he's a pedophile. At least that's what I think he is. So you've heard everything I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of The Last of Us and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, take a second to Hulk smash that like button. Share the video with anybody you know. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on the episode. What would you score it? Whom would be your character of the episode? And any other tidbits that I may not know, leave those in the comment section. I'm okay. I haven't played the game, so I'm okay with you telling me every little tidbit that I missed. I try to catch as much stuff as possible, but I'm trying to like watch the episode and take notes at the same time, and it just doesn't work good. I miss shit. It happens. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.